Alright, good afternoon. Welcome to the inaugural video for the YouTube channel WMMA Seen Now. I'm your host. My name is Chuck Stevenson, and today we're going to be covering Invicta FC 26. Alright, to start off with, at 115 pounds, we have a couple of debutantes. Kay Hansen, who's 1-0 as an amateur, versus Emily Prince, who is 2-3 as an amateur. Both are actually making quick turnarounds. Hansen fought in September. Prince fought in October. I haven't really seen any of these girls' fights, but going by number of amateur fights, I'm going to go with Prince. Next, we're going to move on to the flyweight division, 125 pounds, where we have Christine Feria at 1-1 versus Karina Rodriguez at 5-2. Now, Feria has a KO win over recent Tough 26 vet Rachel Ostovich, and her last fight was a unanimous decision loss to Tiffany Time Bomb Van Soest. Karina Rodriguez recently made her successful Invicta FC debut. She trains out of the Lobo Gym and Team Grasso in Mexico with Invicta and UFC vets Irene Aldana and Alexa Grasso. Actually, Rodriguez has had a loss to Grasso before she moved to Team Lobo and started training with her. Both are strikers. Feria is Muay Thai base, very good Muay Thai. Rodriguez, also a striker, coming from Lobo Gym. She's going to be boxing heavy. If I had to pick who's going to win, I'm going to go with Rodriguez. I think she's the more well-rounded of the two, and she definitely has the MMA experience on her side. Next up at 105, we have Amber Brown, who's 6-4, versus Tessa Simpson, 5-2. Now, both of these girls are coming off of losses. Amber Brown is on a current 3-fight loss streak. Now, however, those fights are coming off some pretty stiff competition. The first loss was a title challenge versus Ayaka Hamasaki. The next fight, she moved up in weight and took on Ashley Yoder, and then the most recent win was back at 105 against the always tough and Invicta mainstay Ashley Smashley Cummins. Tessa Simpson is coming off a loss to former 105-pound champion Erica Tabercio. Based off of the size and strength and the previous opposition, I'm going to go with Brown on this one. You look at her, she's just super strong. Even Ayaka Hamasaki said she was saved by the bell against her in their fight. Tessa Simpson, well-rounded. Brown also well-rounded. I just think that Brown has faced, the tougher opposition. I think she's been there. Really, I see it as this is Brown's fight to lose, which she does sometimes find a way to lose. But I'm still going to pick with Brown. I think she's going to get back on a win, and Simpson will have a second consecutive loss. Fourth fight on the card, we have Amy Montenegro at 8-2, the Kansas City native, versus Invicta FC newcomer from Brazil, Verna Jandaroba, at 11-0. Montenegro is best known for the bizarre fight with Celine Haga. At one point, she had Celine in an armbar. Bell rang, and Haga tapped out, but people could barely hear the bell, so they were confused. And then at the very end of the fight, Haga had Montenegro in a rear naked choke. The bell rang. The ref stopped the fight. Haga let her go, and Montenegro was out. I mean, she was unconscious. For some reason, I think the rules state that it should have gone to Haga, but they went to the judges, and it went to the hometown girl at the time. Jandaroba has notable opponents in Lisa Ellis and UFC vet Erica Almeida. Again, neither of them anything special. I mean, Lisa Ellis hasn't won in a long time. UFC, Erica Almeida was like 0-2 in the UFC and then cut As far as who to pick, I called it a coin toss. I just don't know enough about Jandiroba. I think for sake of my Tapology picks, I picked Jandiroba. But again, I'm not really sure on either of these two. Alright, next fight we have at going back up to 125 pounds with Vanessa Porto, who 18-8, versus Milana Duraeva, 11-6. Now, both of these two are coming off of losing streaks again. Vanessa Porto, last two fights, she lost a title bid against Jennifer Maia, and then she lost to the surging Agnieszka Niedviec, who's fighting in the main event. Milana Duraeva got released from UFC, came to Invicta, and has so far not found her luck yet. Honestly, this fight, it's probably going to decide their future career paths. It's going to be hard to recover from another loss for either of them. I'm going to go with Porto. I think she's better everywhere the fight goes but takedowns. Duraeva has some good throws, but striking's nothing special, and once she gets her opponent to the ground, she has a hard time putting things together. So I'm going to go with Porto. I'm going to go with unanimous decision on this one. Next, we're going back down to 115. Kimberly Novaes versus Janessa Morandin, both out of Brazil. Novaes 9-3, Janessa Morandin 9-1. Now, I might offend some people with this, but I'm calling this one the Battle of the Brazilian Can Crushers. And I'm calling it this because if you look at their records, their wins are against... they each have 9 wins apiece, but none of these wins are against anybody of note. I think Morandin doesn't have a single win against anybody with a winning record. So they're both can crushers. They're both from Brazil. You see this a lot in the regional scene. So it's not... It's actually a boxing career path, really. You see fighters just fight, get these easy wins, and then they'll break up into the next step up. But a lot of times in MMA, the can crushers go straight from crushing cans to facing harder fights. Doesn't work out so much for them. It didn't work out for Morandin last time because she lost to Livia Hanada Souza, and Novaes has lost a few times. All 3 of those were step up in fights. Let's see. For this fight, Novaes missed weight, but Morandin is probably best known for missing weight against Jinyu Fry back in about March, and that fight ended up being canceled. Morandin missed weight badly. Both of these fighters are coming off to losses to fighters who are now in the UFC also. As far as the pick, again, it's another coin toss. I think for sake of my Tapology picks, I went with Novaes. Next up, we have the co-main event. We have Mackenzie Dern, 4-0, versus Kalina Medeiros, 8-5. Okay, the biggest thing to note of this fight is that it's Dern. It's at 115, and unlike her last 2 forays at 115, she actually made weight. So I think I have to agree with a lot of people when they said, Dern, I don't think she had any desire to make weight before, but now that she's seen some of the killers at 125, she said, well, man, I got to make weight at 115 if I want to continue fighting there. It's first fight for Medeiros in a year. Her last fight was against Angela Hill. It was a failed title bid. Angela Hill beat her by unanimous decision. Medeiros showed a lot of problems with cardio in that fight. She is on the upper end of her 30s. Now, this will be the biggest test to date for Dern, and I'm picking Medeiros by decision. I think if the age and cardio aren't an issue for her, I think Medeiros wins an wins due to her overwhelming experience in MMA. And last, that brings us to the 125-pound title fight between Jennifer Maia, 14-4-1, versus Agnieszka Niedźwiedź. I think I got that right. Who is currently 10-0. This will be Maia's second title defense and first fight in over a year. Her last fight came in a split decision win to Tough 26 semifinalist, and then due to unforeseen circumstances, she became the finalist, Roxanne Modafferi. This will be the biggest step up in Aga's career by far. Her best previous win was her last fight against Vanessa Porto by unanimous decision. So, if you've seen Agnieszka fight, you know she has great striking, dynamic Muay Thai base. Definitely coming from that Polish lady fighter tradition. Maia also has great striking, but I would say she's definitely the better all-around fighter. My pick, I'm going to go with Maia here. I'm not on the Niedźwiedź hype train. I think it's still too early. If you look at her record, up until she debuted in Invicta, her opponents were nothing to write home about. Everyone had like maybe one win before they faced her. And this was all the way up to like her 7th fight. Fight number 8, she faced Christine Stanley. Stanley's a scrappy vet, but she also came in on like a day's notice. Came in overweight and obviously wasn't in fight shape. So definitely the biggest win for Aga was Vanessa Porto. So I'm going to go with Maia. I definitely think she's a safer bet. I know it's probably not the popular choice, especially on some of the forums. Shout out to my Sherdog brethren. I'm going with Maia. Coming up Saturday, I got a little bonus prediction for you. Bellator 190 at flyweight, we have Lena Ovchinnikova versus Alejandra Lara. It's the Bellator debut for Lara and her first fight since February 2016. So she's coming off a long layoff. Bellator signed her back in like April, kept her sidelined till now. She trains out of the Lobo Gym alongside Karina Rodriguez, Irene Aldana, and Alexa Grasso. Ovchinnikova is best known for fights versus Joanne Calderwood, Jingnan Zhang, and Rebecca Ruth. Unfortunately, those best known fights are all losses. I would say her Ovchinikova's biggest win, looking back, is versus Ukrainian fighter Svetlana Gatsik, who's currently 9-3. I would say it's looking at the records, Lena will definitely be the best opponent that Alejandra Lara has faced. You know, she's still relatively new, 6-1, hasn't fought any real experienced fighters. But against Ovchinnikova, you never know how she's going to show up. She came in as the overwhelming favorite against Rebecca Ruth, and Ruth choked her out. I'm still going to pick Ovchinnikova due to the experience factor. However, I won't be surprised by a Lara win. Let's see. So, other fights coming up in December. Of course, we have the Holm versus Cyborg fight, and Esparza versus Calvillo. That'll be on December 30th. December 23rd, all ladies event, Road FC 45. It'll be their second Double X event. That's going to be headlined by an atomweight title fight between atomweight number 1, Sahi Ham, one of my favorites, versus another one of my favorites, Jin Yu Fry. There'll be 3 or 4 other fights on that card. I'll be doing a full prediction and review for that. This is my first video. Let me know how I'm doing. Leave a comment. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Feedback, both positive and negative, is appreciated. And if you like, give me subscribe. I'll be doing reviews for the fights I just predicted, probably sometime Sunday or Monday. Thanks for joining us. This has been the inaugural video for WMMA Scene Now.